Hello, welcome back to the Cricket Nerds. And today, we've got all of us. We're all together, which means that you need to subscribe. Okay, subscribe, become part of the Cricket Nerds. Thank you so much for all the support. Today, we've got two amazing games to talk about. The first one we're going to talk about is India versus Bangladesh. That happened yesterday. And that was actually a really good match once again. And the other match we're going to talk about is Pakistan versus South Africa. Now, both of these matches were decided by was it Douglas, Lewis, and who's the other one?
Duckworth, Lewis, and Stern method.
Douglas, Lewis, and Stern method. So that's something. Rain's still here. Rain is still the main champion of the Australia World Cup. However, let's kick in with India versus Bangladesh. Zach, just first thoughts.
My first thoughts are that I think Bangladesh were a bit unlucky in areas and put up a real fight to almost beat India. And I think Bangladesh is India's sticky game when it comes to World Cups. I remember India being knocked out of the 2007 World Cup in the group stages because of Bangladesh. And Bangladesh are a lot better team now. But yeah, I think overall, India looked the better side. It was just Litton Das. It was just awesome to watch when he gets going. And I was really impressed by him.
I think that was his greatest ever T20 knock. He was on fire. He didn't look like getting out at all. And it only took, again, the king of the World Cup, Rain, to get him out because he stacked it. And Rahul did a really good run out, to be fair. I think he had one stump to aim at. But yeah. That's what it took to end that innings because I was so impressed with Litton Das. And I think it was a bit of a day for the understudies. This just the last two games, actually, Pakistan and South Africa as well. It wasn't a day for like the big players that have done so well all the way through, or the players that you thought would like smash it out the park going into the World Cup. It's been the understudies. So like going into the World Cup, I would have thought Rohit Sharma and Surya Kumar Yadav, Hardik Pandya, they were going to absolutely smash it out the park. In India's innings, it was KOHLI and Virat Kohli that really came to the fore. So what were your thoughts, Benji, on KOHLI's knock? Because it's the first one he's actually managed to do.
And he put it together well, and he struck at 150, which is like, that's not what we saw. That's not what we're used to from KOHLI. Like, he's used to that steady innings where he builds it slowly. And, you know, you always talk about it in the IPL, James, that he's just too slow, isn't he? And that's the main issue with KOHLI. But it was just a perfect, really good knock. And I think it just took a really good piece of bowling from Shakib to actually get rid of him in the end. I also want to shout out, and I know he's not an understudy in this tournament, but he's sort of overshadowed by Jasprit Bumrah. But Arshdeep Singh, like, what a World Cup that kid's having. Like, he's bowling fantastically like a magician. You never have come into this World Cup. Well, if you look at the India squad on paper, you'd think, well, Arshdeep does the same job as Bumrah, but not as well. But he's nailed it. Like, he's been opening the bowling. He's been bowling crucial overs all the way through. And that last over against Bangladesh, like, even though he was defending, 20, I think it was, but those last three balls, he kept his nerve and he managed to deliver on that. And hitting those Yorkers, he was fantastic, I thought.
I've got two main talking points from this game, which I just absolutely love. The first one is Taskin Ahmed going for hardly anything and over. But also in the first over against Rahul, they put in 3 slips and he had 2 fielders on the leg side. It was just like watching a test match. It was beautiful. Like, I don't think I've ever seen more than 2 slips in a 2020, never mind a third slip in there.
But I hope you take some notes, Zach, for your captaincy next season. I want to see 3 slips in when I'm opening the bowling.
Well, you need to bowl like Taskin Ahmed then. And the other thing is that Bangladesh were almost cheated a super over because there was a moment, and this is very controversial, and the Pakistan fans are screaming about it because if Bangladesh had won, then Pakistan could have probably qualified. And that is that Virat Kohli missed a ball and feigned a run out or feigned a throw. And in the laws of cricket, that goes down as 5 penalty runs. And it wasn't picked up by Murray Erasmus, who is now the most hated umpire in Pakistan and Bangladesh, because that was potentially the difference between Bangladesh winning and Pakistan ending up through. So yeah, very controversial that.
Wow. It definitely was controversial. And where was it? I know Shakib mentioned it in an interview as well. I can't remember who else it was, but when they mentioned it, I was like, oh, okay, this could get heated. It's a brave thing to accuse Kohli of. And I mean, he did do it. So 5 penalty runs wouldn't have been out of order. But yeah, no, it was a brilliant game, and that's been the theme, hasn't it? Just it's been absolutely brilliant cricket the whole way through. I like Ravi Ashwin, the finisher. That's going to be my final point on this match. 13 off 6, and it was a good 13 as well.
Yeah,
like he absolutely slapped one. I think he pulled it for 6, and I was like, oh, Ravi, that's a lovely shot. And I think Ravi Ashwin has gone. He's transformed for me. He's gone from being somebody that I didn't like that much when he was like the Punjab captain, things like that. I just like when he man-cadded, run out the long striker's end, Joss Butler. I was like, oh, that's a naff way to win. But now that I look at him, I just think he's hilarious, and he's on a different plane of cricket knowledge, and I enjoy it a lot. So we'll move on to the match that we had today between Pakistan and South Africa. Another really good game, actually. And Pakistan, to set the scene, were about 45 for 4. It was an absolutely horrible start they got. And after, choosing to bat, I was like, oh dear, this is going south for Pakistan. And yet, Iftikhar Ahmed and Mohammad Nawaz did something pretty special, and Shadab Khan did something even more special. So, Benji, talk us through it.
I actually think in the build-up to this World Cup, everyone was talking about how key Rizwan and Babar are for Pakistan. And I think this is the second or third time that I've said the top order didn't quite do well, but we've been surprised at how good the middle order has been. Mm-hmm. Like, it was the complete opposite of the England versus Pakistan series. But, wow, like the middle order of Pakistan, suddenly when you pick the players who are good at cricket, are in there. Like, there's no Asif Ali messing around. There's no Fakhar Zaman because he's injured. You've got players in Iftikhar Ahmed, Mohammad Nawaz, and Shadab Khan, the 3 all-rounders, the 3 spinners who are just really good at cricket. And they're doing great things. Like Iftikhar looked on fire today. And actually, he was one of the middle-order players that could still bat properly against England. And they put up a really good total on that pitch, I thought. Iftikhar and Nawaz just played a sensible innings where they came in and, consolidated after they'd lost that many, those 2 early wickets. And then Shadab Khan, that was some Joss Butler level, that Liam Livingstone level of ball striking. He said in the interview afterwards with Danny Morrison that he reckons that was his best ball striking performance outside of the PSL for Pakistan. He was like, for the PSL, yeah, I do that easy, but he's like in this great, and he was wanting to get put up the order, but all players want to get put up the order though, don't they? Yeah. And then he bowled really well as well. Took 2 wickets in 2. He's just a really good all rounder, and I think he's such a key player for Pakistan. Really impressed me today.
I think Sri Lanka are hoping, and Royal Challengers Bangalore, to be fair, are hoping that Hasaranga can bat like Shadab Khan, because he's got the bowling to match, but his batting, which has been promised, has just never come to the fore. But obviously we don't want Hasaranga to do well with the bat against England.
No, he can get
with
better
the ball
after that.
Yeah, after that.
Yeah.
I've just jinxed it, haven't I?
You really have. I can't believe you've done this.
He's going to hit a 10 ball 50.
The biggest surprise for me this game is Temba Bavuma. 36 off 19 deliveries with 4 fours and a 6.
And a brilliant 6 at that.
And this man decided, you know what, Quinton? I'm going to play like you today. And you're going to play like me today. And we'll see who does better. And guess what? Bavuma played better. So, yeah, I think he kind of tossed off the burdens of captaincy, removed it, and was like, I'm just going to have a go and see what happens. And it paid off for him. It's just a shame that the rest of the team, with that middle order that is usually so reliable for South Africa, just wasn't able to keep up. And it was too easy for Pakistan in the end.
Absolutely.
James, do you think they missed David Miller today?
Yeah, without a doubt. Easy question. Easy answer. David Miller is such a good player at number 6, and he plays spin so well. And Pakistan, it was quite a nice position for Babar to be in, where he could just say, right, Shadab, you have a go. Nawaz, you have a go. And if there were any more left-handers in there, he could have thrown the ball to Iftikhar Ahmed as well for his off spin. So he had all the options, all really high quality options as well. So David Miller being there, being as good against spin as he is, it would have made a big difference, I think. And he can take the game deep. So yeah, from that perspective, it's definitely a shame, and hopefully he gets better soon. But all credit has to go to Pakistan, especially their bowlers. But just again, it was like I was saying before, it was the understudies day today, because players that you'd expect to do well, Rezwan, Azam, who else we got? Kagisa Rabada, and who else did I notice? Oh, it was Haris Ralph as well, had a stinker. And none of those players did well, and they were the people I was like, yeah, they're going to have a brilliant tournament. But it was the Shadab Khans and the Anrik Nortjes, who have just kind of played second fiddle to those mainline bowlers and those mainline batsmen, that just really impressed. And they stood up and they were like, this is why I deserve my place in the team. And it was brilliant. And what a day. What a day for cricket.
I think I'm quite sad that Pakistan aren't going through, because it would take South Africa losing to the Netherlands or Zimbabwe losing to, or India losing to Zimbabwe. And as much as we might want those results to happen, those results just don't happen in my brain. India are too good. South Africa are too good. And it's a shame for Pakistan because everything's come together for them too late. Like, imagine if they were playing India in this final game with Shaheen Shah Afridi back in his form. And he's today, his performance showed himself to be how good he is, and that he's one of the best 2020 bowlers in the world. And all it takes is Babar Azam and Rizwan to start firing, and they look a very good squad who I predicted to win, and they would do, I think, if it wasn't for the performances so far. So yeah, it's a shame, but it's good for England. So there we go.
And that's what matters, really. And that's what obviously all of our fans want to see. So I think we need to move on, boys, because it is now time for Cricket Nerds questions. Now, we got a couple on the last video. All one people that watched the video really enjoyed it. And it's PD, of course. And he says, during cloudy, overcast matches or matches where rain prediction is over 70%, do you feel that the match referee should always truncate the number of overs for both a team before match begins? If both team bats for, say, 10 to 12 overs each, we can enjoy a full match, and the teams don't have to keep on guessing targets are set by DLS every time a wicket falls. We've seen numerous times where a team struggles to score and later comes back strong. Statistical predictive models can never account for that human factor, after all. DLS is all about what could be. However, I miss that I admit that for DLS to work, one team has to bat their full quota or close to set number of overs, which will generate probable targets for the chasing team. So it's basically, should they just say, right, let's just play a shorter match and hope that we get away with it? Or do they continue with the current method and use DLS?
I think they should, based on the fact that, let's say a team bats first and scores 150 in their 20 overs, and then it rains, and then they're like, oh, the team batting second has 5 overs, and because the other team only scored 150, you only need 40 off the 5 overs to win. It's like, well, obviously they're going to get 40 off 5 overs with 10 wickets in hand. And if both teams go into both innings with the same mentality of, we've got 10 overs, it's a T10 now, that's the way we've got to see it, then that's the preferred result. And I think we see those good games when rain interrupts the start of play and we lose overs, and then the sun comes out and they're like, right, we've got the rest of the time to play this 10 over match. And it makes for a much better spectacle than, oh, sorry, you've only got 3 overs left to bat, this is how many runs you need to score. It screws teams over. And that's why I think they need to reconsider the weather conditions and think, right, it's 90% chance it's going to rain, therefore we're going to play this over match.
I think you should add in a bit of flexibility in terms of fixtures too. Like, I know it's tight. It's a tight turnaround because it's all over Australia. It's a big country. I get that. And there's the BBL that starts right after the World Cup. But still, like, it's the World Cup. Like, have a bit of flexibility. It generates an unfair World Cup, don't you think?
No, I completely disagree with that. I think, like, if you think about event management, they've sold out a stadium full of 100,000 people, like, that have all, some of them have flown from India. How are you going to tell them that, oh, actually, it's raining today, we're going the next day, when they've booked like hotels and there's TV crews all at the stadium and things like that?
They've not sold it out though, because they're getting 15,000 people at the MCG for England, New Zealand. Like, it's ridiculous. The only games that have been sold out have been any games with India in. Like, that's been the only.
It's because they're the best fans and they're the cricket nerds fans. And on that note, don't forget to follow our social medias. They will be in the link in the description. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Tell all your friends about the podcast. You can also listen to our podcast on a ton of places, also in that link tree in the description. Thank you so much, and we'll see you guys later. Goodbye.